This week, 75 years later, America is commemorating those killed in the attack at Pearl Harbor. Just 2 months after that attack, still more lives were lost at the Battle of the Java Sea. Japan sank 10 Allied ships, including the USS Houston and the USS Perch. And as CNN's Ivan Watson reports, the wreckage from 5 of those ships has mysteriously vanished.
The USS Houston and the USS Perch. 2 Navy ships that were sunk by the Japanese in a series of naval battles that began on February 27, 1942 in the Java Sea, one of the worst naval defeats for the Allies in World War II. The Japanese Navy crushed a coalition of warships from the U.S., Britain, Australia, and the Netherlands, sinking at least 8 ships in several days of fighting off the coast of what is now Indonesia. In the run-up to the 75th anniversary of the battle, a diving expedition recently made a disturbing discovery. The wrecks of the U.S. submarine Perch and at least 4 Dutch and British warships, some of which are seen in this rare archive footage, completely disappeared off the bottom of the sea, leaving Indonesian officials baffled.
It hasn't been identified whether it has moved or whether it has been stolen. The point is that it's not there where it was once there.
Britain and the Netherlands condemned the disappearance.
Here's why some people are so upset about the missing warships. The relatives and governments of sailors who died on board view the undersea wrecks as maritime war graves that should be respected and protected, just like any other World War II cemetery where hundreds of fallen servicemen are buried.
In 2014, the U.S. Navy held this ceremony over the final resting place of the USS Houston, a cruiser that fought to the death against the Japanese, alongside the Australian ship Perth, before both ships sank with a combined loss of life of more than 1,000 sailors.
My dad was able to survive the sinking. He literally was the only person that got out of the lower deck turret number 1 team, because he was a young man. He was only 17 years old.
After the war, Otto Schwartz started a survivors group that's now led by his son, John, who's now deeply worried by the disappearance of other ships in the region.
We're on eggshells. We're very anxious and very disturbed, and we're just praying and hoping that no further damage gets done to either our ship or any others.
2 years ago, U.S. Navy divers visiting the Houston discovered scavengers systematically looted the wreck. Experts say hoisting an entire warship off the bottom of the sea would be logistically challenging. But if you could do it, professional Indonesian shipbreakers tell CNN, the scrap metal from one vessel alone would easily be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
To do things such as we're talking about would be equivalent for someone to go into Arlington National Cemetery with an excavating equipment and start digging up coffins and graves. The same thing.
The Indonesian and Dutch governments have agreed to launch a joint investigation to solve the mystery of what happened to the final resting place of so many sailors. Ivan Watson, CNN, Hong Kong.